Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today, we are on the West Coast Main Line South London Euston to Milton Keynes route, and we are taking my first look at Skyhook Games Cargo Line Volume 3 Intermodal. This has been out for a bit now, but I wanted to pick up this pack on a sale, so I just picked this up in the Steam Autumn sale. So, yeah, so basically what this pack includes, not too much, which is why I didn't want to get it full price. It is decent for with what you get, but yeah. What you get is a rehash at the DB Class 66 stroke 0. That was included with West Coast Mainline South. Then you also get the FCA Intermodal wagons. And you also get a new timetable for West Coast Mainline South, which we are in. You also get a new timetable for Peterborough to Doncaster. And you also get 3 additional services on Skyhook's Midland Mainline. So, so yeah, let's take a look. We already know about the 66. I've driven it before. Everyone knows what it is. It's been rehashed so often that, yeah. So yeah, here it... Sorry, I have a bit of tickly throat this morning. So yeah. Excuse me. Here are the FCA wagons. So yeah. First off, visual modeling. Up to Skyhook's usual standards, i.e. pretty high. This looks pretty dang good. Definitely enough to pass muster. Like, and then all of these controls here are operational. These are also EWS branded, which I assume is a holdover from an EWS operated these until 2019. Yeah, no, nice to see 3D spring assets. And yeah, and then the containers themselves look pretty decent. Like, the end of each of them looks pretty good. Like, everything on that looks decent. The containers, it is important to note the containers are not branded due to just like licensing, but they do come in a multitude of different colors, so I suppose that is a plus. And there's also a branding patch on the Train Sim community website that I believe is compatible with Train Sim World 5, but not 6. So yeah. I've also gone around on this route and done as many of the collectibles as I could find, so yeah. If we go have a look at down here, you might see there is an imposter. If you West Coast Mainline South includes a pretty old rendition of the FKA intermodal wagons that do have Hapag Lloyd and Ocean Network Express containers, so those can substitute on, as this one has done. So yeah, but enough waffle, let's get going. I've already inserted the reverser handle because it bugged out for me last time. So, oh, probably should reverser neutral. Let's get the safeties on. And can I shut the fuse cabinet, please? Thank you. Instrument lights, headlights. Let's release the automatic brake. Yeah. I do have one thing to do before we go, so you'll see what that is in a minute. Let's go and make sure... Oh, brake timing, please. Goods timing. And brakes should be cut in, I hope. They're cut in, yes. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to get up, go down to the platform. I hope I can do it from the platform. Run back. Oh, I think I have to go around the other way and do this from the tracks. I don't think you're supposed to do it with the platform in the way. Yeah. The 66 has had 0 changes for this pack. It's literally the same. So yeah, we've got the handbrake, which has this nice little sound to it. We've also got we need to put this into G because we're running goods brakes. So yeah, let's hop back in before we get run over. So yeah, let's hop back in, please. Thank you. And shut that. Sit down. And I believe we are ready to go. We should probably turn the high-speed switch on, since we are going to be going pretty quick. Release the direct brake. So yeah, that was just so the train didn't roll while I was outside. The brakes don't appear to be releasing. Come on. Oh, I hadn't released the automatic brake fully. Come on. The automatic brake in this thing takes so long to release. I've actually gone on the Euston to Milton Keynes section real life in a Pendolino. Also, the headlights have this weird thing. I think it's due to my graphic settings where they phase out if you zoom out. Alright, put that down. Notch 1 should be enough. Yeah, we've got a long train today. If you're wondering what service we are doing, it is for Lima 24 East Midlands Gateway to London Gateway. Yeah. Unfortunately, those are the stock intermodal wagon sounds. Skyhook was unable to record them off a real wagon, unfortunately, which is a shame. But since you're in the cab most of the time in this game, it's not as if you're going to notice that. Also, literally the day after I got this intermodal pack, Alan Thompson Sim announced that they were bringing the Class 90 to the game, so I really, for this route no less, so I really hope that the Class 90, when it comes out, uses the FKA wagons. That'd actually be so cool. Man, this thing is slow off the mark. I should probably turn the... There we go, now we can actually see the instrument lights. Yeah. So, our only stop today is South Departure Siding 4, which... my mouse wheel is still broken, so... It's messing around with the map. Come on, zoom out, thank you. So, we have to go all the way down to here, near Stonebridge Park. So yeah, we have to come... Oh, there's actually a train in the way. London Gateway to Lawley Street, FCA at 9:35. I do have to zoom the map out all the way, because that does give me better FPS for some reason in TSW. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's a thing. Come on. I'm pushing this thing as hard as it goes. There's the 350. I should also mention I have the patch from the Train Sim Community website that reinstates LNWR branding, because that is one thing I cannot stand for in TSW, having unbranded stuff. Though I do have to amend that statement, because on October 16th, 5 days from when I'm recording this video, we are getting a return of Peninsula Corridor and the two Caltrain add-ons, two other Caltrain Loco add-ons, in an unbranded state, which hopefully there'll be a branding patch that reinstates the Caltrain branding. There goes a 350, it's 390 Pendo stomping past. One thing I do like about West Coast Mainline South is even with the default timetable, the amount of services is actually really decent. There are a couple of timetable mods, one for a 2024 timetable and one for a 2019 timetable with Virgin Trains made by On Track Simulation, both of which are pretty good, but they absolutely murder my computer's performance thanks to the vastly increased number of services. Oh, come on, change gear. Yeah, this 66 is also equipped with dynamic suspension as well, which is nice. I just hate how the headlights phase in and out. I don't know what's causing that, but yeah. One thing advertised about this pack is containers not only have dynamic colors, but also can on and offload themselves dynamically too, so yeah, which is pretty basic. Oh, there's another Pendo! Did I take this light off? No. I do like the Pendo in its default. I do like the Pendo. It is a great great unit. I do need to take out the Pendo more often, especially with West Coast Mainline Birmingham to Crewe releasing in the next few days. Well, next week or so, I should point out. We are actually clear up to 75 miles an hour. And that's one reason I got Cargo Line 3, is because that is one of the layers explicitly stated that you need, because the intermodals, yeah, they don't. All Aboard Studios wisely decided not to use the default FKA intermodals and decided to use the much better FCAs. And you're probably wondering why I haven't got Cargo Lines Volumes 1 and 2 yet, and that's because I'm just not that interested. Cargo Line Military I was interested in because that adds a entirely new kind of gameplay to the game, and it's for two of my favourite routes in the game, namely Great Western Express and Preston to Carlisle. And then there's also, and then Cargo Line Volume 3, I do like doing container runs more than other types of freight. Like, for example, if I'm doing a German freight run, I will actively seek out to do container runs rather than, say, yeah, other types of runs. Then, yeah. And then also Cargo Lines Volumes 1 and 2 just do not interest me that much, I'm afraid. Like, if they go on like an 80% off sale in like a year or two, I might get them simply for AI. But, yeah, not now. Definitely not now. Yeah, oh goodness, we do have a long train today. There's another Pendo. Yeah. I do like the Pendo in TSW. I just do not get why it was marketed as a separate DLC. Because that's just simply lunacy. Because, well, the Pendolino is an integral part of the West Coast Mainline rail scene, and to not have the Pendolino is just insane. So it basically forces people to either buy the DLC separately or to get the deluxe edition TSW5. And to make things worse, they've done the same in TSW6. They made the Class 220 Voyager, even though it's an integral part of the Riviera Line rail scene, they made it a separate DLC that's either locked behind the deluxe edition paywall or is a separate DLC. That's one reason I haven't got the Riviera Line yet, simply because I'm not willing to pay 6,000, 7,000 Japanese yen for the Riviera Line in the 220. I will pick both of them up on a good sale though, mark my words. Cargo Line Intermodal was on a good sale, so yeah, that's why I picked it up. I'm trying to only buy add-ons on day one, which I actually think are worth it. Stuff by Just Trains or Train Sim Germany, for instance. Like, for example, the Transport for Wales 142 Pacer add-on for Cardiff City Network. I'll pay full price for that. Preston to Crewe by Just Trains. I'll pay full price for that. On the other hand, something like Birmingham to Crewe, it looks good, but it's by All Aboard Studios, who are an unknown quantity that we don't know. There's another Pendo. We don't know how good the add-on actually is. So I'm just going to hang back and see and wait for people's wait for reviews from people like Train Sim Society or DC 4260 Productions. And then if I think it's good, I'll probably pick it up at a sale. So yeah. I know I got Cargo Line 3 Intermodal 2 specifically, as one of my reasons was specifically for layering on Birmingham to Crewe, but yeah. I'll probably pick it up on sale anyway. Just out of curiosity, how long is our train? 616 yards. That's actually impressive. Yeah, we're limited to 75 today because that's our maximum legal limit. Even with a passenger train. We are getting close to line speed, which is nice. Hello? Why did AWS go off for a green signal? I've had that. I think I had that bug in the exact same place when doing a Pendolino run up to Milton Keynes yesterday, off camera. Huh, that's very odd. There will be more intermodal content coming. I've got a video planned where I go on Peterborough to Doncaster, and I've also got a run planned for Midland Main Line as well, which I haven't been on in a good minute. Like, yeah. Yeah. One thing about Peterborough to Doncaster is the transparent trees still haven't been fixed, even though the route is 2 years old at this point. Let's cut the power back a notch. There goes the AWS again. Is that realistic? Viewers, please do let me know. Yeah. The intermodal wagon, the FCAs do have dynamic suspension, which is nice. You don't see that on AI trains for obvious reasons, but yeah. Wow, we are actually booking along. One thing like when we get the class 90 for this route, that's just going to be so good, because we've been in need of a good UK freight locomotive, modern era freight locomotive, for a good while now. The Class 66 was originally introduced in Great Western Express, which is the original UK route for the game, all the way back in 2018. Ever since then, we've had the Class 66 recycled 4. Let me just reel off a list for you. East Coastway, Brighton to, what is it, Eastbourne? Seaford? Yeah, I think so. Southeastern High Speed, East Coast Main Line, Peterborough to Doncaster, all of the cargo line packs, so cargo lines 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I already had Peterborough to Doncaster. Then West Coast Main Line South, which is this route, through Cheddington. Then, what else? Manchester Airport Commuter. Yeah, it's just simply a ton of routes. Fun fact, for Train Sim World 6, they actually didn't include the Class 66 as one of the trains that come with the route for the. I think the Class 66 has been included in every single base iteration of TSW since TSW2. TSW3, we had it with Southeastern High Speed. TSW4 with Peterborough to Doncaster, Pendolino. And then TSW5 with West Coast Main Line South. So, yeah. The fact that we're now getting a Class 90 in the game after so many years of literally begging on our knees for another one. And it's by Alan Thompson Sims, so we know it'll be absolutely, it'll be really good. I just hope they don't cut any corners with it, because Alan Thompson Sim has a bit of a reputation for cutting corners. Especially, but with a lot of the Train Sim Classic, with some of his Train Sim Classic stuff, and also, what was it? Also with Manchester Airport Commuter, they just simply stuck the Class 323 in to Manchester Airport Commuter, even though we've had it twice before, albeit with some minor improvements, I grant you. But, not, like, we didn't get any other Fords in motive stock. And I can think of a ton of Northern stock that we have not got in the game. Like a 158 and a 170 to start. And then also like a 333 or things like that. That was close. Yeah, I hope Alan Thompson doesn't cut any corners. But yeah, anyway. And then also Alan Thompson has been embroiled in some pretty stuff in the past. I'm not going to go into that here, but there was, what was it? Yeah, the Class 745 and Class 755 flirts cost a for Train Sim Classic by Alan Thompson cost a staggering what is it, 45 UK pounds each, which is insane. It is unjustified to be charging that much for a Train Sim Classic add-on. And then also there's some other stuff involving Alan Thompson, which I'm not going to go into. But so far, Alan Thompson's Train Sim World stuff seems to be pretty uncontroversial, which is nice. Let's see what's going on. Who's ahead of me? Who's the naughty lad ahead of me? Oh, hello. It's a Tring to Euston. Dang it! It's a 350 local that just pulled out of Tring just ahead of us. That's annoying. Stop slowing down! Your brakes are released. Stop slowing down. I'm losing speed. Why am I losing speed? The brakes are released. Okay, there we go. I'm gutting it, and I'm not gaining any speed. Come on, up the hill. Yeah, this is precisely why we need the Class 90 and TSW. The 66, if you have a long train, is so underpowered, it's not funny. It's the DB Class 66 is layered in, is included with the Intermodal. Like, there's a specific cargo line Intermodal version of the DB66, but there is also, but other 66s can do these services, like the Ocean Network Express Pink and Direct Rail Services Blue 66s from Rivet Games' Engineering Express Pack can also do cargo line stuff. There's a 350, and then there's also other, like the EWS 66s for like Southeastern High Speed and Peterborough to Doncaster. I don't think the Great Western Express ones substitute, and plus those are incredibly outdated, so I'm not surprised those don't layer in. With the Great West Express remastered, the Great West Express version of the 66 will get a full refresh up to current 66 standards, which is nice. And then I'll be able to run cargo line military services on that route as well. Alright, that's full beans. Hopefully that little bit of low speed will prevent us from catching up with that 350. Because the Trig to Euston is a pretty local stopper, so hopefully we will catch up with him again. There's a Pendo flying along. Come on, speed! At least we're on a bit of a downward grade now, which is nice. What I'm annoyed about with the London Euston to Milton Keynes route is it's just cut off at a weird place. London Euston to Milton Keynes is a really short section of track, and not all express services stop there. Mind you, a lot of express services, like Pendolino services, just go straight up for ages to places like Warrington Bank Quay as their first stop. With, like, I wouldn't expect Dovetail to do a Euston to Warrington Bank Quay route, but at least like make Euston to Milton Keynes a bit longer, because it just feels like a really weird place to cut the route coverage, and it makes it too short. And considering a huge section of the route was already reused from the ancient Bakerloo line add-on, there's not a lot of new track included in this route, to be brutally honest. There's a Pendo. And, like, if this route could have gone up to, I don't know, Rugby on the West Coast Main Line Trent Valley line, that would have been that probably would have been a good place to cut the route coverage. Or even better, go all the way to Birmingham New Street, like what was it? Like the old Train Sim Classic versions of this route did. Hello, 350. Yeah. So I like this route, but it's way too short for what you get. Why is this brake pipe gauge lit up in blue? And then the rev gauge is in orange. There has to be a reason. Wonder why. Anyway, I digress. Because if this route had gone up to Birmingham New Street, then it could have linked up with Birmingham to Crewe by All Aboard Studios, which would have then linked up with Crewe to Preston by Judge Trains, which would have then linked up with Preston to Carlisle by Just Trains, and we could have had an unbroken stretch of the West Coast Main Line as far as Carlisle. And then we'd have just needed one more route, and we could have gone all the way up to Glasgow and then Edinburgh. Like, if we could have that's DTG for you, though. Missed opportunities galore. Let's get like a proper fly past shot, why don't we? Another thing which I do find disappointing, but this time it's real life, so I'm not gonna call Dovetail out for this because it's nowhere near their fault, but I have no idea what British politicians are thinking, and no, I'm not gonna get into a political rant because this is not the channel for that. But that was a 12-car 350. Fair play. What was it? Where was I? Yes, High Speed 2 or HS2, if you want to use the shortened version of the name, is quite simply a lunatic idea. Let me explain. Because back in the day, back when HS2 was first announced, it went up to no less than 3 places. It went to Birmingham, Leeds, Manchester, and then also East Midlands Parkway were planned, all going up to all four major stations. And that was a great idea. It was a great idea because I am a supporter of high-speed rail. I think it should be in more places, and the fact that the UK only has one dedicated high-speed line is quite frankly ridiculous at the moment. And I'm talking about High Speed 1, or the Channel to the Tunnel Rail Link, which goes from St Pancras International down via Stratford, Ebbsfleet and Ashford, and then into the Channel Tunnel, and then onto France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. But High Speed 2 has been so undercut that it's not funny. Because back in 2024-3, I can't remember exactly when. Oh, hello. What are you? You are a 66 in EWS with an intermodal train. Nice. With one Hapag-Lloyd container. That's hilarious. 3 Hapag-Lloyd containers. I take that back. Anyway, where was I? HS2. Yeah, I was originally going to go to those 4 places that I specified, but it has been in 2024 or 3. I can't exactly remember when. It got cut back to just Birmingham International, which just defeats the entire purpose of it, because we already have a high-speed rail link between London and Birmingham International, and that's the West Coast Main Line, and we're on it right now. And yeah, and to make matters even worse, like a lot of modern infrastructure projects in first world countries, the cost has ballooned. I can't remember exact figures off the top of my head, but they're well into the billions of pounds at this point. Excuse me. And that's just... And one reason that is because NIMBYs have decided they don't want to see a high-speed rail link cutting through the Chilterns, and so they basically pressured the government into putting HS2 in large tunnel sections under the Chilterns, so they can keep their property values up, which is just unacceptable, because it has raised the cost of this line by billions of pounds, just so people can keep their property's value up and to have good scenery, which is just totally unacceptable, and the government should never have caved to them. There's another Pendolino. Also, HS2 going to Birmingham is completely pointless since, yeah, we already have a high-speed rail link, which is the West Coast Main Line, as I stated earlier. And yet the government is still going ahead with it, despite the costs having ballooned, and also despite the fact there is already a high-speed rail line in place that goes between those two stations. And I've not even mentioned the final one. The terminus for HS2 is going to be at Old Oak Common. Yeah, Old Oak Common, the depot. The where the old GWR depot used to be on the Great Western Main Line. Which is just a weird place to put a terminus of a major rail line. Because it's nowhere near any other major rail lines. Granted, it's got the Great Western Main Line right there, but it's not connected to... But it's not currently it's not going to be connected to any other rail... it's not connected to any other major stations. Like... They originally planned for HS2 to go as far as London Euston, but now but they haven't given approval for it, and I honestly doubt they ever will. Despite massive works taking place at Euston in preparation for HS2. So yeah, I think HS2 is just a massive just muddy. Think of it as a bucket with a leak. Think of it as a bucket. The original HS2 was like a steel water bucket that you put water in, and the water stays there, and yeah, and it works as a bucket. When HS2 got cut, think of a bunch of holes got cut in the bottom of the bucket. So now when you pour water into said bucket, it just... Excuse me, hang on. Sorry about that. It just leaks water constantly, and the water never stays in the bucket. That's what HS2 in its current state is like. And I'm sorry if I went on a bit of a rant, viewers, but it's just an absolute travesty. And like, this is just emblematic. This has just been emblematic of the British government for the past, what, 4-5 decades? It's just never done big projects well, and they've just always managed to budget in some way and balloon costs for the average taxpayer like yours truly. 70 limit coming up, so I'll cut the throttle and I'll get the direct brake on. See if I can cut the speed back a bit. Yeah. I know I went on a bit of a rant, and I know I don't normally talk about politics on this channel, but this is just something that's pissed me off, quite frankly, and I'm sorry if anyone was surprised by me adding that word in, but this is something that I feel pretty strongly about, and I should emphasize that I like high-speed rail normally, but this is just been an absolute travesty. An absolute travesty. 70 limit in force. Oh, we're heading into the tunnel into Watford Junction. Shush, I'm fine. Okay. There's another train. "11 miles to go." I know about that. I'm just losing speed too quickly. The automatic brakes on this thing are too powerful. Yeah, we're approaching Watford Junction. How's performance doing? Decent. Yeah. I'm pushing this thing right to the rev limiter to try to increase speed. You can really tell that the 66 was not really meant to haul trains this long. It is so underpowered at these like longer train lengths. One thing that the Class 90 will have that Alan Thompson have confirmed is we will be getting a we will be getting speed set functionality in the Class 90 as it does in real life, which should make those long haul freight runs on, say, ECML Peterborough to Doncaster, that should make it quite a lot easier. 10 miles to go. There goes another Pendo. I do like I think one reason this route isn't... I think what really the thing that I like most about this route is the sheer amount of rolling stock variety. You can drive high-speed express services with the Pendo. You can drive local stoppers with the 350. You can drive express express runs with the 350. You can do what is it? You can do freight with the 66. You can do London Overgrounds locals with the Class 710 if you have the Suffragette line. You can do London Underground stoppers with the 1972 tube stock. Yeah. It's really good. I do like it. Here's Watford Junction. There's the 710. There's actually a specific version of the 710 that you only get with this route. If you have the Goblin line or Suffragette line or whatever it's called these days, you get the Stroke 2 version of the 710. And then you also and then with this route you not only get the Stroke 2, you also get the 5-car Stroke 3 version, which yeah, is pretty cool. At least we haven't had the TPWS trying to annoy us today yet, because I think I've been slowing down for signals in time. Hang on. Is this a good opportunity for a shot? Hang on. If I advance, like, line it up there. Hang on. What's that advanced game time button? The sound will probably sound a bit weird, but yeah. There we go. Move the field of view. 25%, please. Thank you. Oh, come on. Hide HUD. Yeah, that looks decent. I'll take that. There we go. Screenshot taken. Yeah. 8.8 miles to go to Wembley. That's actually... Once we get south of Harrow and Wealdstone, like, the section of line from Harrow and Wealdstone to Queen's Park is actually just straight up recycled from the Bakerloo line add-on with a couple of enhancements, but not much else, sadly. Is there a rail line underneath? No, it's a road. My bad. Straight through Bushy. Yeah, now we've got the London Overground services to keep an eye out for. Because, yeah, those will be alongside track. The track from here all the way to Euston, and then the underground services will be alongside us all the way from Harrow to Queen's Park, but yeah. There's a 350. There is a 710. Nice. That's a stroke 3 with the 5 cars. The electrification on this line is so weird because you've got overhead wires for these 4 tracks, and then for these 2 tracks you've got either third rail for the London Overground only sections, and then for the sections where the underground and overground are running parallel, they've got third rail and fourth rail electrification. So you've got overhead, third rail and fourth rail electrification running side by side from Queen's Park to Harrow, which is, yeah, probably the biggest mix of electrification that we have in this game. Because, yeah, and you've also got diesel trains running too, thanks to the 66. Ooh, and just as I said that, we went up to 66 miles an hour. Good timing. And we have 6.6 miles to go. Like, what is that timing? Wow. Yeah, we should start seeing diminishing performance as we start getting closer and closer to London, because we'll start seeing more and more traffic. There's another 710 pulling into whatever station that is. That the name escapes me for the moment. It looks as though it did have mainline platforms at one point, but those look as though they've since been demolished. Yeah, we've just been following this 350 all the way from Tring. I suppose that is a disadvantage of having a busy line. At least it gives me more points for... Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that I'm running London Midland's signal visuals mod that you can find over on the TrainSim community website. That just makes the signals a lot clearer and more realistic looking. I do, and yeah, and I think entirely replaces the textures of British signals, which is pretty cool. Well, coming up to, I think the service ahead of me must have stopped at Harrow, because that's the station on the track monitor. At least that 350's got more power and more speed than I do. I honestly should do more runs on this route. I don't give this route the love it deserves, if I'm being honest. I need to take the Pendolino out more often. I need to take the 350 out more often. Coming up on Harrow and Wealdstone, so now the scenery should start. You should start seeing the recycled scenery from Bakerloo now. There's a 72 stock waiting in the headshot at Harrow. Pretty neat. Ooh, hello! 377 stroke 2 doing the run from East Croydon up to Watford Junction. That's an hourly service in each direction, so I'm glad we caught that. I know we're not going at line speed, but since we just have a constant succession of yellow signals, I just want to keep an eye on it. Whoa, why is performance just dropping? The heck? Is it because we're coming up on a busy area? Yeah, it probably is. Whoa! That was 14 frames a second. What? Is it that 710 to no? What the? What? What? That's a bug report going into the developers, that is. What in the heck? There's another 710 stroke 2 this time. Was all that lag being caused by those NPCs mucking around with the performance? Yeah. We're now back up to 46 frames a second. What? I'm so confused. What the heck was going on there? Oh, I should probably check to see if manual points are set. Hang on. If there are any. No, there aren't. Okay. Phew. Okay, that's good. Okay. I'm glad I saw that, because I know it makes for funny YouTube content, and B, it means I can send a bug report into the developers. I've got some back channels that I can send it in to make sure that it actually reaches the developers in a reasonable time, because it appears Dovetail really doesn't really like people using their system, their ticket system that they've got built into their website, because it seems very often that they just ignore that. It seems as though if you go via back channels with like the ambassadors, then that seems to work. I have to remember that was in between, that NPC bug was in between Harrow, Wealdstone, and Kenton, and it was on the heading southbound. But yeah, ooh, it looks as though we do have a 10 limit coming into the yard at Wembley. That's annoying. Another 72 stock. Red signal coming up. Hit that contact signaler button. Coming up on Wembley Central Station. Excuse me. I'm still recovering from that cough I had last week. Stop slowing down. Stop slowing. Oh, wrong button. I've stopped. It's over revving. Even in notch 1. Hang on, I'll go look. And the signal's changed. Thanks, game. I hate the automatic brakes on this thing with a passion. Come on. Speed, power, velocity. Jeremy Clarkson, come on. And that's notch 1. We're at maximum revs, and we are not... Turn on the sand stick. Will that help? Hang on, let's... Ah! That's not the one I was looking for. There it is. Oh. Hang on. Drone camera's... Ah, drone camera's borked. Hang on. Move! Here goes the 350. My drone camera nearly crashed into. Move! I'm literally over-revving. I'm pushing this thing into the red. No, wait, there we go. We're moving. At 0.2 miles an hour. Come on. Yes! Speed! I'll go only up to 10 miles an hour, but at least we're moving again. That took long enough. Turn on safety systems. It is on. .8 miles to go. I'm probably blocking some poor soul who's stuck behind me, but I don't have a choice. There goes a 350 and another 350. You can actually do LNWR services that, in real life, actually go as far as crew, which is really impressive that you can get a 350 to go that far. Come on. I need to slow down. Come on. Alright. Can we go to the... Yeah. Okay, the rear of the train hasn't even passed the Wembley Central yet. Lovely. .900 yards to go. I think one reason the Class 66 has remained a general fate. I still like the Class 66 despite all the recycling shenanigans is because it is a good locomotive. Like it has good functionality. It has those pretty dang good Armstrong powerhouse sounds. It's just, yeah. 700 yards to go. Rear of the train's just passing through Wembley Central. Hopefully there isn't someone behind me. I imagine there is. There isn't. Yes, that's very good. Shush. I need to zoom the map back out. I can rest easy knowing there's no one behind me. There we go. Goodness, this is slow. .450 yards. This locomotive brake setting seems to be holding us decently well. Not really a lot of stuff in Wembley Yard. There is another FCA train though. Come on, buddy. I knew the coming into the yard would be painful. I didn't realize it'd be this painful. I think... Huh. So yeah, those are FCAs. Are those... Yeah, these ones in the middle are actually the FKAs. No, those are the FCAs. Sorry, I got them mixed up. My apologies, viewers. $80 yards to go. Let's start cutting back on that speed. And there we go. I didn't get an UI noise for some reason. There we go. Welcome to Wembley Yard. Oh. And yeah, there we go, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next Train Sim World 6 video. And yeah, bye.